Hello everyone, my name is Rob, welcome to Kinetic Rugby League. In this video I'll be giving you my Challenge Cup semi-final predictions. Let's get started. Kicking things off, we have Kingston Rovers versus Wigan Warriors, starting with league position in Super League. Hull KR currently sits in 5th, Wigan sit in 1st. In terms of recent form in all competitions, Hull KR have won 3 in their last 5, Wigan have won 4 in their last 5. In terms of my power rankings at the moment, I have Hull KR in 4th, Wigan in 1st. Looking at player availability, there'll be no Oliver Gildart for this week. Elliot Manchella is a 50-50 for Hull KR, and Sam Luckley is to be confirmed when he'll be available. On the side of Wigan, Sam Walters, he'd be expected to be available for selection, and Willie Isa is to be confirmed on when he's available as well. For me, I'm kind of leaning the same way as I did for my Super League prediction, which was pretty close but in favour of Wigan. Even though, of course, Hull KR recently beat Wigan, I'm trying to look at this as a typical performance. Both teams are still extremely strong, but let me make this very clear. I am going to lean towards Wigan, and I'll try and, give reasons, justifications, positives and negatives on both sides. But when I say that, I'm also not that confident. It's like 51-49. That's the split for me. Because I can't really go 50-50 because I have to pick someone to win. So I'm going to have to lean towards the stronger team. Of course, the main reason why I think Wigan are stronger is just, first of all, in terms of player availability on paper. As much as we can look at the individuals of Hull KR and players that have done a good job this season, so you got Niall Evalds when he switched to fullback, Mikey Lewis, of course, May, Minchella, of course, if he's available. But individuals have done a good job for Hull KR. But compare that to the types of performance and quality that Field, French, and Smith can pull off. It's on a different level. It is on a different level. Now, as a unit, as a team, Hull KR do a fantastic job, and they will make this a real grueling effort for Wigan. If it was, a home fixture again for Hull KR, maybe I'd look towards leading that way. But neutral ground, both really don't have to worry about the kind of pitch conditions that we could get at Hull KR's home ground. But for me, it's just about those individuals. I think an occasion like this, the mindset of all players they'll be fully on it, they'll be fully focused. Because I think in some of the middle Super League games, you can kind of lose your way, you can take your eye off the ball a little bit, because it's like, it's just that's just another round, we can make it up next week. You can't make it up next week with this. You have to be on it. So everyone's fully focused, less mistakes, more focus on a structure, on a plan, and I think Wigan thrives off more structure. If Hull KR can disrupt things, make it a bit more chaotic, they can play off the cuff, and players like Mikey Lewis will eat that up. And I think Niall Evalds off the back of that as well can work wonders. But Wigan, they're good in both areas, but they'll love a structure. And if they can get into the structure that they like playing, they can complete sets, pin Hull KR back, they'll continue to grow throughout this game. Hull KR will find their moments, because they always do. They always find their moments in games. I think their most important thing is the kicking game. Can they get that right? Because it was pretty poor against Warrington. They allowed Warrington too many easy meters through the middle of the park especially, and then when they attacked the edges, they just played very narrow defensively. And Wigan have some really, really quick players through the middle and on the edges. The main area that I'm kind of thinking of is going to be the target for Wigan. If you look at a lot of the attacking players from Warrington down the right-hand side, they look very strong, but Warrington finished a lot of sets really strong down the left-hand side. So attacking Hull KR's right edge will be Marshall and Wardle. And Wardle is the kind of player that uses leverage extremely well. That, you get him a bit of an overlap, or he gets that extra step on the outside of a player. He can draw someone in and step to the inside. Or he can fend off a man and stay to the outside and get the ball offloaded to Marshall. He can use leverage extremely well. And if Hull KR haven't found a way to sort of neutralise that area and find a way of counteracting what Warrington did last week, then they'll really struggle. But if they can shut that down, it'll be a great start. And try and put as much pressure onto Harry Smith as possible. Make sure his kicks aren't as accurate, not pinning them back into the corners as much. And the intensity from the start, it felt like it was lacking from Hull KR. They gave away a few 6-agains. Some of them may have been harsh. I didn't see all of them in pure detail because I was at the game. I didn't see it on TV. As long as they can reduce those, that'll be a great start. Complete sets at a high rate. If they can get some repeat sets against Wigan, chip kicks into the corner, maybe they can come up with a few opportunities, grubber kicks into the in-goal area, make them have to go again. There's some real possibilities that Hull KR can win this one, but right now I'm just thinking both teams are going to be firmly on it. But the reason I'm going to have to lean towards Wigan 51-49 is simply because of the individual quality that they bring. But I will state now, I wouldn't be surprised if Hull KR won this game. I just wouldn't be surprised. But I need to go with somebody. So I'm going to go with Hull KR 20, Wigan Warriors 24. Next up, we have Huddersfield Giants taking on Warrington Wolves, starting with Super League position. Huddersfield are in 8th, Warrington in 3rd. In terms of recent form, Huddersfield have won 2 out of their last 5 games in all competitions, have lost 3 on the bounce. Warrington have won 4 of their last 5 games in all competitions and have won 2 on the bounce. Huddersfield are in 8th on my power rankings, Warrington are in 5th. Let's start with Huddersfield. Very inconsistent. We don't know what team we're going to get week to week. I think the have been a little bit down. Obviously, they've lost 3 on the bounce. One of those games included the game against Saints, which was a valiant effort, but at least in all of those games, at some point, probably bar Wigan, because, I guess that doesn't really count, for what I'm about to say, is that they lose momentum very quickly. Seemingly, they never really had it against Wigan, let's be honest. Even with an extra man for, the opening 10-11 minutes, just... What are we going to do about Huddersfield? What are we going to do? They're just a weird team. I'm not writing them off completely because we have seen multiple games this year where they have competed at a high level. They've gained momentum, but they lose it very easily. And Warrington are a team, especially over the last month and a half, where they've been down, they've been beaten in certain areas, but they've regathered and they've kicked on to win games. The one game where it looked really shaky, the whole way through, was against Salford. Lee, for about an hour, were down, and then the last 20 minutes got their act together. Catalans were down, early on, and then the rest of that game, extremely competitive, 18-0 down very, very quickly, and then to make it as competitive as they did was a valiant effort. But Warrington just finding their form, finding that consistency, had a rough game against Salford and then really turned things around. But still not a perfect team. So if Huddersfield... Typically what Warrington don't like are when there's second phases. So if Huddersfield can get plenty of offloads, create that second phase, play off the cuff, get that defensive shape all out of whack, that'll be vastly important. Because Warrington's left-hand side is looking really, really strong. The decision-making from Toby King, his timing... and his defence has been on point. It's been really, really solid. Down the right-hand side, over the last couple of weeks from Roderick Ty, has been excellent. So, in terms of knowing when to jam, when to jump out the line, and knowing which player to attack, it's been much better down that right-hand side. And the best way that Huddersfield's going to counteract that is to play off the cuff. Is to make sure that Toby King is in a position to... not make a typical decision on when to go. That Roderick Ty's not in a typical decision of when to go, when they're defending their own line. Keep throwing that ball around and keep having a go. Because the kicking game doesn't really work. The best kicker they've got on the team is Clune, but it seems to be Jake Connor that kicks most of the time, and his kicks are just not effective at all. And if you allow Matt Duffy to receive the ball in good field position, he'll just eat up those meters very quickly with his pace. And if you give him a gap as well, if the chase isn't good, he'll find even more meters. So, I think the main thing for Huddersfield, make sure that Adam Clune is in charge of the kicking game, and then keep throwing the ball around. And that first 5-10 minutes just needs to be really quick from Huddersfield. But overall, individually, Warrington are the better team, been more consistent over the last couple of weeks, and they've just, they just are the stronger team. They aren't without issues, but... the way that they have been when they've lost momentum, they've done a good job at regathering it. So I think they'll be favourites for this game clearly. Either not a massive margin here, but like fairly safe. But it could easily, I could easily see this going the other way. If Warrington are off slightly and Huddersfield have one of their good days, which when they have their good days, they're excellent. But because they're so inconsistent and Warrington has done a good job in turning the tide in their favour, I'm going to lean that way. So I'm going to go with Huddersfield Giants 16, Warrington Wolves 28. So in terms of winners' confidence, I'm at about 70%. I'm mostly confident with the Warrington result, but obviously there's a question mark in there with, what kind of Huddersfield are we going to get? With Hull KR and Wigan, basically 50-50, but 1 percentage point in favour of Wigan, purely because of individual players. But yeah, that one for me can go either way, and Huddersfield can really pose a challenge for Warrington this week. So yeah, about 70% on winners' confidence, but if you have your own predictions, do let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it's going to go any other way? Any interesting results to happen? But yeah, do let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.